speaker for the day, and that is Mr. James Eric Ross. James is, well, we call him Eric. Eric is a good friend. I actually love hanging out with him, but I have a ton of respect for him. Number one, because he's an Ohio State alum. As is my mom, an Ohio State alum, and a lot of my family. So I personally am not, but I am a Buckeyes fan by genetics, I guess. So he is an Ohio State Buckeyes fan. He also has a degree in psychology, as do I. So we have some kindred spirit there. But more than that, we just really connect because of his desire to motivate other people, to encourage other people, and that really is about who he is. If you ask him what he does, he won't tell you what he does for work. Okay? He won't tell you what he does for work. Okay? He tells you that he motivates other people. He tells you that he's a professor of perspective, and he really is. And so today he's going to come and he's going to talk to us about staying motivated in the job search. So please join me in welcoming James Eric Ross.
Good morning. It's great to see you, and I really enjoyed the opportunity to do an exercise like that because now I feel like I know you. I know John Cavendish. It's interesting you brought up bananas because the most popular banana that there is the Cavendish banana. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. What I want to do today is really instill in you the concept of what Dennis was talking about. And I have to, this is the Mutual Admiration Society because he's my brother from another mother for sure. And there's a reason. I was on Siesta Key Beach. I was supposed to speak on the 22nd. And I'm with my friend on the beach, and who walks by? Two of my favorite people on the planet, Dennis and Janella Baker. And he said, hey, could you possibly do it? I said, absolutely. So that's why I'm here today. And it's interesting because we're on interviews, we're going to interviews, and I hire and fire myself, and I wanted to share this story with you because I thought it was appropriate. I had a gentleman come in, and I was talking to him about the position. I said, you really have to be responsible. And he said, this is exactly what he said. He goes, I'm your dude. And I go, okay. He said, because my boss would tell me anytime something went wrong, I was responsible. I said, that's not who I'm really looking for. But today what we want to talk about is the fact that we have perspective on anything. And I want just a raise of hands real quick. How many people here believe that this is a sunrise? Raise your hands. How many people believe that that's a sunset? Raise your hands. Now I want to share something with you because I'm up here in the front. A lot of people didn't raise their hand. And that's the whole point of this exercise, is that action is required for you to do anything in life, correct? Yes. So if you're not raising your hand, what is it that you're afraid of? Are you afraid of doing something wrong? Let's get over that right now because you're going to make mistakes. And mistakes are the things that I don't call anything failures. You know, you hear about people that went bankrupt or they started doing something but they didn't finish or they didn't get their end result. That's not a failure, that's a learning experience, and that's perspective, isn't it? So the title professor of perspective is that when you change the way you look at something, the thing that you look at changes, and that's a game changer. I used to be in traffic and I hated traffic. I lived in Boston, I lived in San Francisco, I lived in big major metropolitan areas, and I'll tell you, the people in Boston, if you ever drove in Boston, they're nuts. They're crazy. There's an on-ramp where 2 cars go in and there's 5 cars across. I'm not kidding you, 5 cars trying to get in on the on-ramp. But the reason that I bring up traffic is because a lot of you can empathize with traffic woes. You know what I did? At first, I was viewing the people that were next to me as adversaries. I'm not going to let him in, and this is my enemy. No, he's not my enemy. And I shared a story that really changed my perspective on that. When someone was driving erratically and cutting people off and doing all these things, nobody knew that their daughter was dying in the front seat. So every time I see someone that cuts me off, every time I see someone that's speeding, I don't put my sheriff's hat on. I say, hey, that person is not my adversary, that's my brother, that's my sister, so I'm going to get out of the way. And guess what? I don't have any angst or road rage or anything when it comes to traffic. Being a professor of perspective understands that The power perspective and the long-term job search is going to really help you to get through a lot of these issues. The power perspective. What do you see when you look into a mirror? This is a little kitten that views itself as the king of the jungle, and I love that little kitten because what do you see when you look into a mirror? Do you see someone that's beaten up? Do you see someone that didn't achieve what they wanted to achieve? I'm here to tell you right now, the past is set in concrete. It's dead. The horse is gone, the barn door's shut, but you continue, me included, to pull out this battle axe or this club and beat yourself with it. Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Let's just stop right there and understand that life happens and we're going to make mistakes, but as someone that has perspective, you have to understand that this is something that is going to take you to places that you've never dreamed before, because now you've changed the way that you gain a unique perspective on the fact that I am unemployed, but I'm going to be, Ruiz has 4 agreements, I'm going to be the best James Eric Ross that I can be. And when I go into that meeting, when I go into that interview, I'm going to let them know that my perspective, my concept of being an employee is not to take the most and do the least, because the perspective is of the hiring authority is that I want to give the least amount possible to this candidate, and I want to just squeeze every single drop out of them that I can. True? True? But the perspective of the candidate is completely orthogonal. It's different. Okay, you're going to hear me use a lot of big words, and I don't apologize for my vocabulary because I love words. Orthogonal means it's completely opposite. The candidate says, I want to do the least for the most. The hiring authority says, I want to give the least amount of money and get the most. So if you change your perspective about what it is that you're doing, then you're going to obviously make an impact, but you're going to go a lot further. Job hunting is grueling and discouraging. Yeah, that's one perspective, but job hunting is an adventure. It's the same thing. You form it in your mind. It's an adventure. I don't know who I'm going to meet. This person could be someone that could help me. And I absolutely agree with Dennis Baker, is that you are in a situation where you have to understand that motivation is something that is like bathing. Daily, you have to do it daily. It's something that if you're not doing daily and you wonder why you're not motivated, that's the reason why. No one has to tell me at 5 o'clock in the morning, wake up, get up, because I have a lot of energy, obviously, you can tell. You can plug me in and power perish, is what my friends say all the time. I have that much energy. But that's good, because what I'm able to do is to give that energy out, and it's contagious, isn't it? When you're around someone that's energetic, you don't know why, you're just like, whoa, this is great, And sometimes it's not great, because I can feel it. I'm what's called an empath. I can tell when someone likes me or doesn't like me, but what someone thinks of James Eric Ross is none of my business. If you can come up with that, it's none of my business what you think about me. I know what my power is. I know what my passion is. Do you? What's your passion? If you can do something and work all day at it and it's not work, that's your passion. You can do it all day long and it's not work. Do you have something like that? Do you have an idea in your mind of what the perspective should be? It's not grueling, it's not cumbersome. I love the experience while I create the ability to seeking out my ideal job. That should be your perspective. We're going to talk today about learning life. Learning life is so important, and most people don't do it. Learning life is the same thing, and I use Tom Brady as an example. I lived in New England. I don't know if you're Patriots fans or not, but Tom Brady's really upset right now. He's upset at the NFL, and it shows because he's scoring like unbelievable amounts of points. But what Tom Brady said was, just like anything else, remember, motivation is something we do daily. Tom Brady said in his 5th year, the game slowed down. I started thinking about that. The game slowed down. Well, the safeties and the blitzes and everything, they're coming at the same speed, so what is it that happened that slowed the game down for Tom? And I'll tell you what it is. His subconscious mind, through repetition, his subconscious mind, through practice and over and over and over, took over, so that he could focus on his checkdowns. He could focus on different things that are super important. All the rest of this stuff is automatic. 7-step drop, how he positions himself. When I say to you 2 + 2, 4 + 4, 8 × 8, it's reflexive, isn't it? You don't have to think about it. 64, 8, 4. You know those answers. It's the same with Tom. So what I'm submitting to you, and I'm a king, my dad taught me, was the king of analogy, the king of story. Jesus Christ told stories that were complex stories, but he broke it down into parables because people said, I don't understand what you said. So let me share it with you in a story. And it works. Learning life is key. You're going to like that. Symbiotic relationships. I told you about the big words. Symbiosis is something that we see in nature, but we see in business. And we're going to talk about symbiotic relationships. We're going to talk about Kenai. Kenai, Tony Robbins, who I absolutely adore, he's done a lot for me. He is a mentor of mine, is constant and never-ending improvement. What are you doing today to get better tomorrow? Who are you talking to today that you're going to help? He said, it's not about you. Guess what? None of this is about you. None of it. It's about seeking other people that you can help, and you're gonna see this in the middle of the presentation. But how can you serve other people? Because when you help enough people get what they want in life, guess what? You can have everything that you want in yours. What's your life's purpose? And I said it, passion. What's your bliss? Do you know what that is? And if you don't know what that is, that's okay, because we can help you with that. Learning life. Life skills. Keep calm and learn life skills. My mom has this, I don't know why, she has it all over the house. And if I see it anymore, like tea cozies and trays, but I'm like, okay, whoever came up with this is making a lot of money off of my mom. But I do like that, is if you don't learn life, just like Tom Brady, if Tom Brady didn't understand and do the mechanics every single day, so much so that his neural net is completely set up so that he doesn't have to think about it. Just like you, when you're 16, 10 and 2, remember on the driving, when you're driving and you were looking, and you're kind of like this, and oh, I gotta watch this. 6 months later, I'm driving with my knee, eating a Big Mac, and it's true, because my cerebellum, my subconscious, took over those 5 movements. And you've done that before. You drive for 2 hours, and you're like, hey, how the heck did I get here? Because your subconscious took over. And that's important for you to understand that practice doesn't make perfect. Last perfect person I know left 2,000 years ago. Hope to see him again. Practice makes permanent. Practice makes permanent. Remember that. The pearl to this, and I'm big on acrostics. What an acrostic is where you start and go down. Life. You need to learn. You need to learn life. You need to inspire other people. Through inspiring other people, you're going to create more opportunities for yourself, because they're going, Dennis Baker, I really like that Eric Ross guy. What does he do? Oh, he's a motivational speaker. I'm going to see about getting him in front of people so that he can talk to them and share his wisdom. And what does that do for me? It does a lot for me, but my focus is on this guy right here. You should be super, super excited to have this guy in your life. This guy is so powerful, and he's getting more and more responsibilities, and his reach is extending, which is great for you. I'm really looking forward to what he's going to do in the future, and I want to be a big part of that, just so you know. Forget. It's a big one. Forget. Forget what you did yesterday when you closed the deal that made $1 million. Forget that. That's buried in the past, just like I said before. Whether it was good or whether it was bad, I want you to forget that. I want you to forget how someone offended you because Ruiz 4 agreements. Don't take anything personally. Do you take things personally? Do you? One can be upset if one is upsettable. Think about that. One can become upset if one is upsettable. Are you upsettable? Think about that. Last one, excel. And excel means to me is that Ruiz, again, be the best James Eric Ross you can be. When I was in the military, when I was a bartender, when I was at Merrill Lynch, anything that I did, I wanted to be the best. And guess what? Usually I was in the top 2-3%. That's not a mistake, because my intent was to be the best. So my result was that I was in the top 5 percentile. Did I fail? Was I number 1 all the time? No, I didn't fail. That's pretty good. Zig said, if you, kind of has it wrong, he said, shoot for the stars. If you land on the moon, he had it the other way around. He said, shoot for the moon, but guess what? The closest star is way far away. It's not even, the moon is a heck of a lot closer. So shoot for the stars. If you end up on the moon, you didn't fail. Learning life. How to operate in this universe is key. If you don't have the tools, if you don't have the mindset, if you don't have the mentors, you're not going to operate in this life the proper way. Can you imagine being on a Carnival cruise ship? No, I'm not going to use that as an example. A pilot, okay? A pilot, if you understand how to operate in this universe, you can operate in this universe and have abundance, have prosperity, have joy, experience love. Just the same way that that pilot can navigate that 747 from LaGuardia Airport to Heathrow, London, the same way. Because he knows what he has to do. There are things in place, and if you're not learning life, you're not going to be able to do that. You have to understand what your role is, your purpose is, and the purpose is those around you. And in psychology, it's called cooperation, and you see it all the time. If we didn't live in a cooperative society, we'd be in a lot of trouble. And we would do experiments at Ohio State where I would be walking and someone's videotaping it, and I would drop my glove, I would drop my book, or whatever. And obviously, if the guy stole it, then we would have my friends there. But 9 times out of 10, the first person that would see that I dropped my book, that I dropped, excuse me, sir, cooperation. If we didn't have cooperative society, we'd be in trouble. Who are you cooperating with? Who are you partnering with to become better? Where 2 or more are gathered, where two people have the ability to help each other, because when one falls down, you can help the other one back up. Become enlightened and engaged with a new perspective. Enlightenment to me is the fact that I love to read. I love to memorize quotes, really long quotes. We don't have time to go into that now, but there's a reason why I have a new perspective, is because I understand that I have a purpose. And it's not to sit around watching Matlock marathons and eating Papa John's pizza. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to inspire, is to impact, and to allow people to know that you can, if you so desire, achieve anything you want in life. But you have to put in the time. You have to put in the effort, because effort is required. If you're not doing that, just like Tom Brady, when the game slows down, how many Super Bowl rings does Tom Brady have? Is he going to be a first candidate ballot like entry into the Football Hall of Fame? You bet he is. The first time he goes up for the Hall of Fame, he's in it. Probably the best quarterback that ever played the game. Create new furrows and plant new seed. Again, big on analogies. A farmer, I grew up in Lancaster, Ohio, and we did have a farm. And what a furrow is, if you remember seeing the horses in the plow, they would plow these straight furrows. Are your furrows crooked, or are they straight? Are you planting excellent seed, or is it shoddy seed? Are you planting Meyer lemons expecting strawberries? A lot of people are out there. If you plant something and you do the right thing, you